Good evening. It's John again to play a little Immaculate Grid. I'm going for that low rarity score after I do the time version. Time version going all right. Last several days. Rarity score been messing up a lot. Been going for some that don't work or just not having coming a few wins short in the case of Ed Walsh or mixing up Mike Stanley and Mike Stanton. Dumb things. But today's a new day. It's almost 10 o'clock, but it's a new day. So I'm gonna start playing here, show my screen. I've got my clock up. I'm ready to go. I think this would have been the timed version based on the obvious picks I have there. Let's hit refresh and let's play. All right, Jamie Moyer. No heal work. Let's see. It's Eric Young. That's too up. Let's see. That was way low. All right, Matt Stairs. 100-run season batting. I'm sure Ichiro works. Barry Bonds has to work. Honus Wagner probably works. And now we're looking for third baseman. So give me Adrian Beltre. Give me Matt Williams. How about Aramis Ramirez? All right. Under a minute, about 52 seconds, 146. Blew it with really low rarity score. I can come up with some others, so I think I'll be all right. But a .04 from Eric Young. That's actually weird. Like a player that I watched was that low. Everyone else was you know, they were pretty high. Matt Stairs at 1% is lower than I usually see Matt Stairs. All right. Yeah, I mean this will be an interesting one for the rarity round. So we'll do stop share, start share. Bring up my failure from yesterday. I think what I did was I had Ed Walsh here. He had 195 wins. He only played 14 years. I should have figured he probably didn't get to 200 wins just based on the information you can just see when you type in the guy's name. You know how long they lasted. I used Roberto Hernandez here. He was a good pick, but then that left this one open. I don't know who I would have gone with. Maybe Thigpen or I went, you know what it was? I went with Dustin Hermanson for his '05 season, the year the White Sox won the World Series. In the timed round, I did the thing. So let's see if I can do better on the rarity score. The guy I thought of as I was disappointingly looking at Eric Young Sr. is Fred Merkel. He played for both the Cubs and the Giants. He delivers a .2, so he's 5 times. Fred Merkel played 100 years ago, and he's 5 times more likely than Eric Young. Um, interesting one. Um, let's see. 100 runs is it really is a one. Tricky one. I'm gonna say over here. I'm gonna say Archivon. Hopefully I don't have a. Hopefully I don't blow it. Okay, he goes sub one. He doesn't work for 100 RBI. I think I looked it up because I was about to play him and I didn't, and he was at 99 for one season. Um, but he does work here. I figured he had a really high on base percentage, so it'd be strange if he didn't work. Um, this is a little bit of a risky pick, but I'm gonna go with Joey Cora just on the basis of hitting first in a lineup with Griffey and Edgar Martinez. Takes 1%. Pretty decent. Um, Cubs and Mariners. Milton Bradley works. Um, Glenn Allen Hill works. Why don't we go with him? Because he might not work, but I think he played for the Mariners. Takes 3%. That's higher than I would have thought. I was also thinking of Mike Morgan. Mike Morgan also would have worked. Um, that opens up Kiki Keeler down here. I could have also played him for 100 runs. That might have been a better call. Well, he's just south of 1%. So Kiki Keeler played almost 100 years ago, and he's like right there with Matt Stairs. Um, Fascinating stuff. 100-run season. So here again, I'm just thinking like who hit in front of Barry Bonds and Jeff Kent all those years. Um, Darrell Hamilton, who I've gone with on many occasions, he would work here. Um, but I will say I would think he would work, but I'm not sure he got to 100 runs. I'm not saying that with any kind of certainty. Um, and I'm thinking like Orlando Cepeda, maybe Willie McCovey. Um, Rogers Hornsby played a season in with the New York Giants. That'd be an interesting pick. That would be an interesting pick. Let's see how he does. Goes 0.2, pretty good. We got 4, 5.5, coming on 6 here. All right. Let's go to classic player Freddie Lindstrom. It's 0.3. This one I'm legitimately curious on. Well, while we're on the theme of black and white, and this will give me a whole black and white bottom here. Pie Trainer goes 2%. Pie Trainer was considered. I don't think this is really true when you look at the stats and you adjust for the offensive era and all that, but he was considered the best third baseman of the first half of the 20th century, pretty much up until Eddie Matthews comes along. Now I think Home Run Baker had better numbers, and there were probably others, but um, so 2%, which I mean, I'm thinking third baseman, Freddie Sanchez. I already played Ramirez. Bobby Bonilla, I think, played a little third base with Pittsburgh. Um, Mainly an outfielder though, but it's just one game. Um, yeah, and then for the Mariners, need a third baseman. I wonder if Bill Hall will work. Bill Hall played a lot of third base, and I know he played for the Mariners ever so briefly. Um, David Bell, Jeff Cirillo, Russ Davis, that's a guy. Edgar Martinez works. Um, Cal Seager's going to be a popular one. Um, Chone Figgins, I want to say moved from third to second when he signed with the Mariners, and then was it Jose Lopez moved over to third base around that time? Um, yeah. No one I've come up with so far strikes me as super rare. Seager, Beltray, and I think Edgar Martinez. People are going to remember he played a little bit of third base for a few years. He was actually pretty good. I think if you look at the third base numbers, he had like 3 or 4 very good overall seasons as the third baseman before becoming a full-time DH. All right, well, I'm not going to dwell on this too long. I'm going to go with David Bell. See how he does. It's 1%. Rarity score of 9, averaging 1 per. Martinez was the most popular, actually. I would have thought Seager just because he was more recent. Moyer was the most popular over here. So I did the most popular for 1, 2. Well, I guess I played Ramirez over here. Brian Hayes is the current third baseman. Charlie Hayes, his dad, would have worked as well. Um, Hayes hits a few teams. He might have. Well, I don't know if he hit either of these 2 teams. Okay. Well, I will take a 9. That's sub 10. That's one per grid category. There were only 15 options for Mariners 100 runs, and I picked Joey Cora at 1%, which again was not me knowing that Joey Cora had exactly 100 runs scored in 1997. Looks like he had 105. He had 111 the very next year. He had 111 in 1998 and then retired from baseball. The 111 actually surprised me. The 105 seemed about right. It's just like, okay, he played a full season. I knew he made an all-star. I've used him before for 300, and he was hitting direct, he was leading off for this team. So he was hitting right in front of like A-Rod, Griffey, and Martinez and Buhner. So he was constantly having people who could drive him in. So that was how I reasoned. I didn't know he had 105. I certainly didn't know he had 111 the very next year. He had a much worse year and scored way more runs. Interesting. Just sometimes baseball works out that way. Cool. Well, you all have a great rest of your night. I'll get this uploaded. We'll be back at it tomorrow. Peace.